What's up, everyone? I'm here with a couple cards I'm going to go through for my second PSA submission. So I've actually already submitted my first to PSA. I've got a bunch of Japanese stuff that I got for, practically for free with how much I bought at the time. And just an old guy in town who collected with his kids, and he held on to it, and he just wanted it out of the house, and I got a good deal, so it felt like a pretty low risk move to grade some of those cards. I've got a couple Rocket Gang Dark Charizards that went out, mostly Rocket Gang stuff, but some other WotC era Japanese that I graded. So really I was just looking for cards that if I got anywhere from an 8 to a 10, I would at least make the grading cost, or the cost of the card and the grading. And if it's a 9 or a 10, then it's a big gain. My first 20 card submission, I thought, I'll hold on to 1, 2, 3 of those cards for my own personal collection, and the rest I will sell and refloor my house, or if they're all 10s, refloor my house and take the family to Disney. So if you watched my first video, that's the goal. I've got a pretty sizable collection for my own living style, and I have an opportunity with good grades to make a lot of that back. So here is what I've got gearing up for submission number 2. These first couple are not, big money or anything, but more so just cool cards. That these two, the Pikachu and the Eevee from Jungle and Rocket, would probably go into my personal collection, no matter what the grade is. And these next ones are kind of the lower end hollows in Rocket Gang, but still, worth a decent amount in today's market. If they get a 10 or even a 9, would at least cover the grading cost and then some. So those first 5, Pikachu, Eevee, got the Dark Arbok and Dark Vileplume, Dark Dugtrio. I've got actually 2 Dark Hypnos, and for all of these, I really think these are all 10 worthy. Now this Lieutenant Surge's Firo from, I can't remember if this is Jim, this would be Jim Heroes if it's Surge. That one may be a 9, but that one was actually from my own personal collection growing up, and just kept in great condition, and I thought, that's one that I'll keep no matter what I get on that one. And then this Heracross, this was part of that collection I bought from Neo Genesis. Really cool card. We'll see. Depending on what I get on my first submission and then the second submission, a lot of this might stay in the personal collection. Got the Pokemon Center Snorlax that honestly I think we'll get a 9. There's a corner on the back. It's still sealed, but there's a corner here that kind of tough to make out, but it's a little square cut. And then of course I can't really tell surface scratches very well while it's in the sealed wrapper, so that's kind of in a maybe pile of its own. But here's at least the first 10 that, again, it's low risk because I pretty much paid nothing for these. But the card guard box here is, so in my massive collection, I've gone through all my heavy hitters several times, and these are the ones that mostly I think will 10, but there's a couple in here that might be an 8, might be a 9. even on a 7 is break even for some of these cards, and I thought, what's the risk? If it comes in lower than that, I'll just keep it. It's cool. It's part of my personal collection. But a lot of these I think will 10. So the Magikarp and Wailord alt art from Team Up, obviously a super hot card, as are most of the tag team cards. The Togepi, Cleffa, and Igglybuff, just a really cool card. And the thought is, the markup on a PSA 10, I don't care if mine's slabbed or in a binder. If I get 10s, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to take some of that profit to buy the card again raw and put it in a binder. And I've still got the card. I've got a little cash. That's just the idea. So Gengar and Mimikyu GX, again from Team Up. Alt art, really cool card, that Gengar. Just looking menacing. Naganadel and Guzzlord from Cosmic. I think that's what that set symbol is. I can't remember. Not the most valuable, but I had a couple of these actually that I pulled. And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure I pulled all. Yep, I definitely pulled all 4 of these. Well, the Togepi, Cleffa, and Igglybuff, I might have won that in a raffle. But yeah, Naganadel and Guzzlord, not super expensive, but I had a couple. This one I think will 10, so I'm throwing that in. We've got the Umbreon GX from Hidden Fates, I'm pretty sure. This one I think will 10, but it's one of those where if it gets a 9, because the front centering is not just absolutely perfect, it's within the what they say the PSA guidelines are, but if it 9s, it's still a good come up. And then we got Primal Groudon from Ancient Origins, and I'm gonna butcher this all the time. Secret Rare, SIR, Alt Art, whatever. It's the good one. It's the good Primal Groudon, okay? And I like it. And I think I might have got this one. I bought my brother's collection during the 2020-2021 boom. But actually he had preserved it pretty well, and I think that one could be a 10. If it 9s, still valuable card. Ultra Necrozma GX from Dragon Majesty, very cool, smaller set, but it's cool to have one of these golds from that set. And actually, I think I played this to Collinsville Regional in 2018, 19, around there. And this actual exact card was in my deck, but I am a light riffle shuffler, mostly mash shuffler, so my cards stay in pretty good condition. I think that one could 10, might be just a 9. The Reshiram from the Radiant Collection in, is it Legendary Treasures? They all run together now. This one I think will just 9 at best, but even an 8 or less, it's a great card. Yeah, there's a little whitening at the top. Just a really cool card. That one would probably be a personal collection no matter what it comes back as. Then I've got some old WotC cards that just unlimited base set. Venusaur, Gyarados. I've got 3 Poliwhirls that I think all of these have a decent shot at 10s, but probably just 9s. But I think there's a lot of value in 9 right now, especially given the current market. For the long hold, I will sell just 1 or 2 of these cards and pay for all the grading. So I'm not terribly worried about if these don't come back 10s. Got Hitmonchan from base set. Then we've got Misty and Brock from Gym Heroes. These I think will just 9. There might have been a surface scratch or 2 on each of these, like one very small. But I had actually, after the last stream, picked up like 20 copies of both of these on TCG Player. Just fishing near mints, and all of them really came back kind of light play, but there was at least one of each that I just thought the iconic Misty and Brock, gotta do it. The Mallow and Lana tag team. This one was another one I had in an expanded deck. Shout out Andrew Martin for his more Pecco VMAX deck at Collinsville 2020, where I actually got my first day 2 in top 64 playing Zacian V, but I had this card in Andrew's more Pecco VMAX deck that I built, but it didn't get played a ton, so I think that one will 10. And then we've got Red and Blue, just kind of super iconic card. Again, I think that's Cosmic Eclipse. Super cool card. I just like this one a lot, so I really don't care what it comes back as. I think it will 10, but probably a 9. Looking at these top corners again, some of these were that I searched through a few times. Some of them came down to, I just want this graded and preserved, and that's one of them. And here's another one, Jesse and James, Hidden Fates, I believe. Can't go wrong with Team Rocket. Check out my short. I've got Team Rocket, Unlimited, and Rocket Gang Master Set video, or short that I put together, just flipping through the binder to show you all the cards in those sets. And then we've got Lily from Sun and Moon Base. All you dirty perverts, just stop it. This is a little girl. But there's the waifu tax, and this was a very playable card in its time, and I had 4 of them because I liked going max rarity on decks at a time. So of the 4, I picked the best one that I hope will 10. I think this one I thought might just 9, but we'll see on that one. And then we've got Erica's Hospitality from Team Up. This was one that wasn't really playable, but I picked up 5 copies of it when it was like $15, $20, when nothing was overpriced, I guess. And just because it's OG iconic trainer and a really cool, very pretty card. I love the pink and green, and picked up 5 of these, and this one was the best looking. I think I actually sold one on eBay or on Facebook Market when it was like $100. Maybe that's still what it is raw. But that's one that I think will 10. Miriam, this one's not like a huge come up in the 10, but just a really cool card from Scarlet and Violet base. This was, of course, when SV1 came out, the chase card, and I remember I was in Indianapolis, and just driving store to store trying to find cards, and pulled this one from a store in the city there. I've got 2 Professor Elm's lectures, and this is from I think that's the Lost Thunder symbol. I have to double check that one, but this one was mid playable for like 1 rotation, I think. But beyond that, I just thought this was such a cool Gen 2 card. I love the orange background, had to get 4 of these, and 2 of the 4 I thought could 10. So that would be one that I'd likely, keep one, sell one. And then I've got How. This one I bought 4 copies of, not because it's playable, but because, kind of my thought is there's a generation of kids who started with Sun and Moon, and one day they will be like me, 34, with adult money, and this was, their character they grew up with. This is their Ash. So I thought if I could grade How and hold on to him, that might be a good kind of long-term hold. But we'll see what happens with that one. Origin Form Palkia V from Astral Radiance. Very cool card. If you haven't seen my short on the Pink Pony Club, check that out. This card makes an appearance in that. Or actually, I think a different copy. I've got two of those. And then Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX from Battle Styles. Not a huge come up on price for a 9 or a 10 with this one, but just a very cool card that I wanted to grade. Got Articuno GX, the Rainbow from, I think that's Celestial Storm in 2018. Pulled this one from a booster box. A buddy of mine bought me a box at Gen Con, I'm pretty sure, back then, and for me driving some t-shirts to him to Gen Con. Then I've got Ho-Oh EX full art from Breakpoint. Just iconic, Ho-Oh Gen 2. Very cool card that I thought could 10, but even in a 9 is a great card. Got 2 full art Greninja GX from, I think that's Forbidden Light symbol. Greninja is a fan favorite, which I was kind of out of Pokemon in the mid-era, and with the TV show when Ash had Greninja, so I've never had that kind of fan favorite, never really got Ash's Greninja, or had seen it, so had a couple really good looking copies, and was kind of surprised to see what the PSA 10 price was these days, so pulled those. I'm gonna grade those ones. For any players watching, Zoroark GX. This is the Sun and Moon promo full art. It was the most played deck for years, and expanded and standard, and just an iconic card that I would likely, no matter what the grade is, I think it'll 10, but I will keep this one, and when I finish my office, have a display for all my decks. I've got, I think, 211 decks built across the years from base to today, and I figured, kind of post this guy up in front of my expanded 2019-2020 decks. Then we've got Dragonite GX from Dragon Majesty. Very cool. Looking down, I've got the one rainbow. Everyone got sick of rainbows. Who cares about that? The full arts were so cool. And, during this time, I would definitely buy full arts over rainbows, even though the rainbows, when they first came out, were a little more expensive. And I think that's just the way to go. That Dragonite was really cool. Pikachu V. Don't really have to say much about that. It's Pikachu. It's full art. I think it'll 10. Brilliant Stars. Cool card. I got 2 Reshiram and Charizards. Came from my Playables binder. Reshizard was a big deck during its time in various fashions. And I thought both of these had a shot at a 10. I think I've got 8 copies or so of that card, and figured I'll throw 2 of them in there. Keep one, sell one, depending what the grades are. We'll see. And then Greninja GX Sun and Moon promo, 197. Very cool card. Not super attached to it, but this was another one of those that, with iconic Greninja PSA 10 price, this is a little crazy. Thought I've got to grade it, try. This Gyarados, so this is Ancient Origins, I believe, looking at the symbol. This one was just sitting in like a bulk expanded playables box, and I had no idea the price on this guy kind of shot up, so it might have a little bottom edge wear, but end of the day, when I was kind of combing through my collection and saw this was in the expanded box, looked at the price, pulled it out, and just studied the art, I was like, oh god, I'm keeping this one no matter what the grade is. It's just so cool. And then we've got 2 XY promos, or 3 really. Mew, Volcanion, and Magearna. I think these came in like a collection box, and there was like 12 or more promos, and I've got 2 sets of them. But these were the 3 that had value to them when graded. So I picked the best copies. Those are ones that might just 9, but could 10. And same with the Mew. But I had 2 copies of each, and don't really fear those getting lost in the mail or anything. I've already got backup copies, so figured I'd grade those. Tyranitar, Paldean Fates, or Paldea Evolved, can't remember. Paldea Evolved. Just a super cool card. Tyranitar is a fan favorite, and I've got a couple copies of those. That one I thought could 10. That's a maybe, but I'm gonna send it out. And then Heracross from Paldea Evolved. This was just one that I thought would 10 for sure, and it's not super valuable, but it's a cool card, and I made it through several rounds of screening, so it's here. And then I've got 4 Lucario V-Star promos, kind of one of those plug and chug. Everyone got a million of these with the Crown Zenith ETBs, so figured I would try my hand on a couple of those and sell some, keep one maybe. I've still got, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 copies of that card that I could further inspect and grade, maybe. But yeah, that's the PSA pile for now, so we'll see what happens, and I'll report back when I get my first grade in, do a little reveal game, show you the 10s, show you the 7s and my tiers. Maybe you'll see me then too. So thanks for watching, everyone. Peace.